Hello everyone, this is Lee McMahon. I am a currency strategist over at GlobalFxClub.com. It is Wednesday, May 15th. We are here to talk to you about CAD, NZDCAD. Going to run through a little bit of what we're seeing on the daily chart, drop it down, look at some hourly setups that may be developing for a possible short-term move higher before another move lower. So please take a moment to pause the recording, read the risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen, then we'll get started. Okay, so here we have the daily chart of CAD. You can see we've had a very nice downtrend really since we hit the highs around 87.80. That was back in very early April. We chopped a little bit sideways before moving quickly to the downside, interrupting this very long and pronounced uptrend really from back last May when we hit these lows around 76.35. So we really started to break up a little bit of this sustained uptrend, but we are starting to run into some significant resistance or support here. First, you can see here we're trading right above the 200-day EMA. We did arguably, we never actually put in really much of a convincing close below that 200-day EMA. I mean, a little bit 2 days ago technically, but really you can see the market really has not put in a convincing close below that figure. Same with this 38.2% fib. Not as strong, in my opinion, as the 50 and 618% fibs, but still a significant Fibonacci level. And actually, if we take the fib retracement from this level here, this 78 figure where we dip down to, you can see we're trading just above a 50% fib as well. So we do have some fairly significant support here after a pronounced downtrend, moving average and fib. So I think that we could be in for a corrective bounce. Just still, though, I'm viewing it as a short-term bounce before eventually lower. You can see here this level, this 38.2% fib, this 83.30 to 83.50 figure has been fairly well trod in the past. Back here in December, it was a brief top. Then we found resistance again here in January, and then here again in February. On two separate occasions, we traded in this area. So this is a fairly significant area, technically speaking. Again, supporting the idea that we may be in for a brief correction. Very possible that that correction takes us up to maybe, say, 85.44. More precisely, if we draw the fibs, assuming that we did actually put in a low, I got it perfectly, 85.48. Would be the 50% fib. That would be a good place to start to look. Or you could look for as high as the 618 fib at around 86.30. That would put in some nice symmetry here with what I'm thinking may be a potential left shoulder in an extended head and shoulders pattern here on the daily chart. So left shoulder, head. Now we're about to bounce and form a right shoulder, something along these lines. Considering this pair's nature, it's very possible that it's a fairly choppy right shoulder. Before we do start to move lower, to test the neckline, which would come in somewhere around 83, perhaps a little bit of a bounce there, before a strong move lower here, really down towards maybe the 78.6% fib sitting just below 79. That would be I think a very possible scenario that we may be building here. The measured move for such a head and shoulders would actually take us down to just below that 618% fib, just above 80. I do think we would eventually manage to extend a little bit below there, however, and head down to test that 79 figure. So that's what I kind of see as a very possible scenario here on the daily chart. Of course, in the near term, I'm more focused on this immediate move upwards. So let's take it down a little bit. You can see here on the 4-hour chart, we do have significant moving average resistance. They're in a full moving averages, 50, 100, and 200 are in a full bearish configuration. So we do have that to contend with. But I do think, again, you can see the support area extending back here from last year. This is a fairly significant area. We have fallen pretty far. If the possibility that the CAD starts to catch up to its Kiwi and Aussie counterparts here, which I mean dollar higher, I think there is a significant possibility that even Aussie and Kiwi stagnation, even if they don't need to even bounce really against the dollar. Even if they just stay where they are and consolidate after their significant drop, we could see Kiwi CAD and Aussie CAD push higher. If we drop down to the hourly chart, you can see that we may have actually started this move higher. We do have a mini breakout here on the hourly chart, well supported here out of this triangle type breakout. Testing this 100 period EMA here on the hourly chart, so 100-hour EMA. We've already cleared the 50-hour EMA, so that's the first step. Now we need to start getting some closes in above this breakout level and eventually break above this 100-hour EMA as well to sort of encourage the uptrend to begin. Again, major resistance levels will be around these moving averages, then 84, and then the big one will be 84.40, which is the 200-hour EMA. You can see here it's been fairly resistive in the past as the start of this downtrend. So that may be the first significant barrier that we see here on Kiwi CAD. Again, the way this pair tends to trade, if we jump back to the daily chart, you can see there are lots of periods of chop. We chopped sideways for a while and then dropped. You chop sideways, pull back, and then spike. So it does require a good deal of patience. The good news, though, is if you're long Kiwi CAD, you do have a positive roll, so you'll be making money just by holding the pair, so that makes patience a little bit easier to come by here on Kiwi CAD if you're long. So that's what I'm looking at on Kiwi CAD. Hourly breakout, perhaps the start off of some fib resistance, miniature double bottom here on the hourly. It's got to start somewhere, and this may be where we're starting from to begin this pullback, perhaps as high as 86. So about a 240, 60 pip move, and then again eventually lower. So keep your eye on this potential setup here on Kiwi CAD. We will be updating it as the trade begins to play out. And hopefully, we managed to grab some pips off of this. If you have any questions, as always, head on over to GlobalFxClub.com. We'll be happy to answer them there. Hope you guys have a great rest of your trading week, and I'll talk to you soon.